Hi everyone, this is Graham from the Product Reviews Help website, and today I'm looking at this Muntons kit of elderberry country wine. So I'm going to make this and see how it goes. So actually in the packet, this is how it sort of comes with this lid on top, and you open the lid and inside you've got some elderberry flavoured stuff there. Wine stabiliser, wine yeast, Nutrifine, and wine finings, and also looks like pretty comprehensive instructions. So we'll give it a go and see how it goes. Right, so first off we need a demijohn and a funnel, and I've opened the tin with the liquid in there, and pour it into the demijohn. To that we need to add 3 pints of cold water, and what you also need to do is to rinse out the can, so to get all that lovely juice out of there. Give that a rinse out as well and pour that in. So 3 pints of cold water added to the wine juice. Next you want to get some ordinary granulated sugar. I'm using Tate and Lyle. Other brands are available, and you need to weigh out 16 ounces of that. I'm just going to do that now. 15.9, that's near enough. And then we want to add to that a pint of boiling water, and to dissolve all the sugar, so that all the sugar is nice and dissolved. So there we are. Pour your hot water, boiling water, onto the sugar. Get a wooden spoon and give it a stir to make sure all that sugar is dissolved before we add it to the wine. Then you need to add the dissolved sugar and boiling water into the wine, like so. And at this stage you need to add your wine yeast and your Nutrifine. Now I think the Nutrifine is sort of food for the yeast to help it get going. So you add that to your wine. Like so. Try and get it in the demijohn, as opposed to like I'm doing all over the jar. It's a bit difficult doing this one-handed. In goes the yeast as well. Then it says to shake the demijohn gently to disperse the yeast and the yeast nutrient. So we'll do that. That should do that. And then we need to put an airlock on. So there we are, I've put the airlock on. Now you fill the airlock with a little bit of water, and that prevents sort of infection getting into the wine, or anything like that getting into the wine. And then what you need to do is put it in somewhere warm, a constant warm temperature, an airing cupboard. If you've got an airing cupboard, that's ideal. If you can't keep a constant temperature, then you can get devices that will keep a constant temperature for you. You plug them in like a little sort of jacket that goes around the demijohn, and you plug that in and that keeps it nice and warm. Or you can get heat pads as well, which you stand the demijohn on. But if you've got somewhere warm, a sort of constant round about 20 odd degrees, something like that. Best not to go below 20 degrees though, because it needs to be warm for the yeast to start working. So you leave that in there. Within about 12 hours a fermentation should start. So you should see that start to bubble. The airlock will start to bubble in about 12 hours time, and that will tell you then that the fermentation has started, and you'll see bubbles rising on the top of the wine as well. So then you leave that for 3 days. So we'll come back in 3 days and see the next stage. Right then, so it's day 3, and as you can see it's bubbling away nicely there. And what we have to do now is actually fill up the demijohn, well, round about to the sort of neck of the demijohn, with cold boiled water. So boil your water and make sure it goes cold, well not cold but cool, and then you need to fill up the demijohn round about up to the shoulder. The reason we do this is because the first ferment is quite fierce and vigorous, so if you filled it right to the top right at the beginning, it would sort of probably bubble out of the airlock, and that wouldn't be very good at all. So fill it up right to the shoulder, and then put the airlock back in, and then leave that to ferment. And that will be the next stage. And once that's finished fermenting, it will take around about a couple of weeks, probably something like that, a couple of 3 weeks. Once that's finished fermenting, we'll get to the next stage, which I'll show you next time. Here we are then at the next stage. Now it does say to leave it 7 days to ferment, but I found that it took a bit longer than that. I've actually left it about a couple of weeks, I think. Just to make sure it's finished fermenting. And then the next thing to do is put the wine flavouring in, which is that sachet there. So I've snipped the corner off, and I'm just going to pour that in there, which is a bit difficult with one hand. Right, so I've added that, and then it says to gently shake it and leave it 24 hours. So I'm going to do that now, gently shake it to mix all the stuff in, and leave it 24 hours, and then we'll be on to the next stage. Okay, so now we're ready for the next stage of the process. This is wine stabilizer, and what we do now is we open that. I've cut off the corner of that, and I'm going to put it into a clean cup, and put 2 tablespoons, I've mixed 2 tablespoons full of water into there, and mix that in with the wine stabilizer. Give it a good mix, and then you need to add that to the wine. So we'll pop that in there. Just make sure it's all, in fact what I'll do now is I'll just put a little bit of the wine back in there to give it a mix round, to make sure it's all in there. Make sure we get all the stabiliser in. It's frothing up a little bit, as you can see. That stabilises the wine to stop it fermenting. And then cut the corner of the wine finings off. That's like a liquid solution, and this will help to clear the wine. So we also pour that into the wine, like so. Just squeeze it, just to make sure you get it all in there. There we go. And then just give it a little swirl, like that, just to make sure that that wine finings is in there. And then what you need to do now is put it somewhere cold or coolish, and that will then stop fermenting. But over the sort of next 2 or 3 days, give it a shake, give it a swirl round, just to get rid of any lingering carbon dioxide that's in there, get rid of the bubbles, etc. And then you're ready for the next stage, which we'll show you later on. So as I say, you need to put that into somewhere cool, like perhaps a garage or something like that, somewhere where it's going to be cool, for the wine to clear. That will take about a week, and then it's time to rack it and put it into another demijohn. So we'll do that next time. Well, here we are then. They say that the proof of a pudding is in the eating, or in this case in the drinking, and that's not bad actually. I mean, it won't win any awards, you know, but it's drinkable and it's nice. The only thing I did think was that it's not quite cleared as well as I would have liked it to have done. So I don't know whether that's something I've done wrong. I know what, when I put it, it said to put it in a cold place, and I put it in our utility room, which is it's quite sunny in there, and then it gets quite bright, and then I read later not to put it in direct sunlight, so I don't know whether that's affected it. So if you try this kit, don't do what I did, not put it in direct sunlight, put it somewhere dark but cold for the last stage. But anyway, give that a try, because I think that's worth, you know, it's a nice country wine, it's elderberry, as I say. It's a nice country wine, it's easy to make, and it's quick as well. So yeah, give it a try, and let me know what you think in the comments down below if you want. Okay, I'll speak to you later on the next video. Cheers for now.